everyone, welcome back to Mom Minute. I'm Mindy from Cute Girls Hairstyles. Today's question comes from Michaela. She writes, how do you adjust to having a blended family? So everyone's definition of a blended family may be slightly different, but for me, a blended family is a family that has been blended because of a marriage, like if your parents have been divorced and then remarried, or you've blended somebody into your family through adoption, or even if you blend two races or cultures into the same family. My first tip is going to be simply to just talk about it before it happens. I really feel like communication in a family is the most important thing that you can have. So for instance, if you know that you're shortly going to be marrying a new spouse and blending your families, start talking about it with your children. Or if you know that you're wanting to lean towards an adoption, talk about it with your kids. Get them used to the idea. Warm them up to it so that it's not a total surprise or a shock when it actually happens. Likewise, involve your family in the process. Now, if you're going to get remarried, maybe you want to make some of your children your bridesmaids, or if you're talking about an adoption situation, with our family, we talked a lot about it with our children, but we even took the kids at one point to meet the birth mom, and we went to a big pizza place, and they got to meet her. They got to put their hands on her tummy and feel the baby moving, and it made it a lot more real for them to accept the fact that this was going to be their new brother when it actually happened. Now, if you're talking about a wedding situation, maybe you want to involve your kids in some of the wedding plans, or if you're moving into a new house with your new partner and their family, maybe you want to have them pick out their new bedrooms, or just try to get them involved in whatever happens so they feel like they have a little bit more control over the situation. Anytime you're blending families, it's important to learn about their culture or their family dynamics. Now, by culture, you can be talking about literally like their historic culture, like with my son, because he's African American, we spent a lot of time talking about African American history and talking about different things that would be important to an African American. Now, if you're talking about a family culture, when you're blending two by marriage, that can mean like their family dynamics, their family rules, some of their family traditions. Every family has its own unique culture, and it's important to learn about those two so that you're not surprised when things come up, and also so you can begin to take those two cultures and form one. Another tip that might be helpful to your family is to simply define the roles of each individual. You know, what is their job and their role as a new big sister or brother? If you're going to be getting a new dad, then let's talk about what is the role of the new dad? Is he the disciplinarian or is mom the disciplinarian? That type of thing. And then there's no question or argument when those things actually start happening and coming into play. I also think it would be helpful to just have a powwow as a family and set your expectations. Basically what I mean by this is set the expectation that in your home you are a family, and that includes being respectful and civil to each other, that you're not going to tolerate or put up with cattiness or meanness just because you're a blended family. Once you've gotten some of those aspects out of the way, it's time to start having fun. By this I mean start celebrating birthdays together and holidays, and start creating lots of family memories, and also start eating dinner together. I am a big advocate of eating dinner as a family because I think that you share so much information, and it's amazing to see the conversations that take place when you really have the time and the opportunity to just sit and chit chat and listen to each other. The last tip, but certainly the most important tip, is to start saying I love you. And I mean I love you to everyone in your family, whether it's an adopted child or a blended child or a stepsister or a stepfather, whatever it may be. Just start telling each other that you love each other and that you care for each other, because that's going to really unify your family more quickly than anything else. Thanks, Michaela, for sending in your question. I know that adjusting to new family dynamics can be difficult at first, but families in general are such a huge blessing. I know that if you just give it some time, soon you won't be able to imagine your life without the family that you have. Now, if you have other parenting questions for me, be sure to tweet me at @TheMomsView, #MomMinute. Make sure and subscribe, and we will see you guys next week. Bye, guys.